कहाँ पे हुए? You were staying here? हाँ, अच्छा यहीं पे पटेल नगर पे. And how? Good evening, Piyush. Good evening, Dhruv. Good evening, Ishan. Okay, Shivam has also joined. Shivam Mishra, Piyush, Ishan, Dhruv, Tanishka. Okay, good. हाँ बताइए. Done? ठीक है. So, what we were doing yesterday? Tell me what we were doing yesterday. Who were the part of the lecture yesterday? To download the PPT. हाँ बताइए. Please make me revise the fact what we did yesterday, and we'll just move forward then after.
मैम ड्रेनेज पैटर्न्स.
Excellent. Drainage pattern. Drainage pattern में क्या किया था हम लोगों ने? First of
मैम
all, define.
ऑब्स्टिकल रिवर्स.
Yes. First of all, define me what is drainage system. पहले आप drainage system से start करेंगे, and you will move towards the last topic of the lecture, which is the types, the patterns that we were doing. बताइए.
मैम ड्रेनेज सिस्टम इज इंटीग्रेटेड सिस्टम ऑफ ट्रिब्यूटरीज एंड ट्रंक स्ट्रीम्स.
Yes. And what else?
Ma'am, like they collect and surface water and rainwater to sea, lakes, and some other water bodies.
Very good. So can I say the drainage pattern and drainage system are same? Good evening, Tanishka. So good to see all of you online students. बताइए. So what we did yesterday? So what is the drainage process? Drainage system is what? Starting with a very normal thing. Drainage. Drainage क्या है? Drainage means that you are pouring something out. Draining. Drain कहाँ कर रहे हैं? Either you are draining it in a basin or in an ocean or in a sea or in a river. That is what you call it draining, right? So drainage system, drainage pattern. You have to understand in a very nominal, because this chapter is it looks very tricky lot of times. Drainage system. So drainage is a process of removing water and liquid from a specific area. So although I have not used this information yesterday, I have made you written you have written the notes, yes, in the previous classes, but here I am using the PPT because I want to show you that how important these facts can be in order to understand the whole concept. So drainage is a process of removing water and liquid from specific area, essential for maintaining stability and integrity of building, garden, farmland, etc. वो सब छोड़ दीजिए, just remove this part. Simple समझेंगे what is drainage is a process of removing water. Simple. और remove कैसे होगा water? How the water will be removed? कैसे remove होगा water? Through?
In the form of channels through the downward slope gradient.
In the form of channels, in the form of streams. It will get poured into lakes, oceans, right? ऐसे ही होगा. And then this system is what? Integrated. I use in the definition that we did yesterday. I use this word integrated. It is an integrated. It has an integrated format. That means silos में तो work नहीं कर रहे हैं ना. For example, if a small tributary is also coming, it is joining the main channel, which is your Ganga channel, and Ganga is draining into sea. So can you see from the small tributary of precipitation which is coming here, or any tributary, how it is forming the whole network? So these all things are integrated. We cannot study them in silos, although we do study the different drainage pattern system in silos, but here we have to understand that we cannot study it in a silos. And why so? Why we cannot study? Because every pattern is linked with another. Can we see that? Definitely. Now coming to the next. Then we did what is watershed. I told you that watershed सिर्फ यहाँ पे नहीं होता. Shedding means what? To letting it let it go. So shed can not only be here, it can be here also. When two rivers are mixing. Watershed means what? When two rivers are mixing and draining their water in a particular area. Now for this these two streams, for these two tributaries, this is a shed. Now they will move further all the rivers and they will shed the water here. So for all the rivers, this is a shed, watershed. For these tributaries, this is a watershed. Maybe before that, they can also have another watershed. So there can be multiple watersheds. So what is that? What is the definition which is saying watershed? The watershed is an entire river system, an area drained by a river, an area drained by a river and its tributary. Simple. Okay? An area drained by a river. Is a watershed. It can cover wide areas. Runoff water from large watershed in the mid-continental United States drain into Gulf of Mexico. Now this is a Gulf of Mexico. Now important rivers like Missouri and Mississippi, they are draining into Gulf of Mexico. This is a watershed. This becomes a watershed for them. Okay. Then coming to the next. Now what is the difference between the river basin and the watershed? Now your river basin is the area of land that is drained by river and all of its tributary. For example, देखिए, it can happen. For example, this is an area where all the rivers are draining. Okay, it can happen before this that there is this watershed forming this small rivers coming together and forming watershed. Then Missouri and Mississippi, these two are forming watershed here. Then these two rivers are again forming watershed here. When all of them come together and drain their water in this will become what? A river basin. So river basin से पहले हो सकता है कि छोटे छोटे वाटर शेड्स हो, ये सारे वाटर शेड्स है, इनको हम वाटर शेड्स बोलेंगे. But what is river basin? Is the area of land that is drained by a river and all of its tributaries. Sari tributary aake, because if you see the Ganga river system also, if this is a Ferric barrage, right? Here the Ganga river is coming and draining into Bay of Bengal, right? Everybody knows this. It is draining into Bay of Bengal. So from where the rivers are coming? Rivers are coming from glacier, coming from here, then Yamuna will join, then who will join? Gandak, Gomti, Gandak, Ghagra, etc. Kosi, they all will join, and this will increase the volume of the river, and all will drain in this area. वह यहाँ पे हम रिवर बेसिन क्यों नहीं कह सकते? Why can't we say कि ये रिवर बेसिन है? Because अभी there are other tributaries needed to be added to this. अभी बचा है ना यहाँ पे. This is left. This place is left where tributaries will add. When all, it is using the word all. When all its tributary will join them and drain, this is called river basin. Okay. Okay. So the next thing that we did in the classification of drainage pattern, the subtopic of drainage system was drainage pattern. In drainage pattern, we started with the concordant drainage and discordant. So we'll simplify this. We'll come to the antecedent drainage and superimposed. Okay, leave it. Antecedent, or what is another name for it? Inconsequent drainage. What is the inconsequent drainage? Antecedent means what? What do you mean by inconsequent or antecedent? Antecedent means when the rivers are not changing the course, even if some barriers are coming in their path. This is what we have done. So this is the part of the river slope and the surrounding area gets uplifted and the river sticks to its original slope. Best example of it is I given you yesterday also Indus and Ganga. For example, this river is flowing like that. ठीक है, ये course it was forming. Come inside. I was thinking you will join online. Good. ठीक है. Okay. So this will come like this. Okay, these rivers are coming now, it will uplift. For example, some geological form, जैसे for example, just go back into a geological time period. Do you think the Himalayas were there forever? No. Himalayas emerged in which period? Tertiary period. बहुत late आए हैं Himalayas. Himalayas got into tertiary period. And how were they? Ganga was flowing forever, right? Then Himalayas were formed. What happened? Then did you feel like that it has changed its course? No, it just passed through it. It give a erosion to all this. It cut through the barriers and then it followed its path. It did not try to follow the slope. अगर चाहते तो क्या कर सकते थे? It would have changed the path like that, but it did not change the path. It followed its own path. Okay, the best example of it is Ganga and Indus. Now you see the definition. Antecedent drainage, a part of the river slope and surrounding area gets uplifted. Surrounding by, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि बाद में area get uplifted. सिर्फ हिमालयस की बात नहीं, आगे भी जाके कुछ हो सकता है कि एरियाज अपलिफ्ट हो जाए, कुछ भी हो सकता है, ठीक है. एंड इट गंगा रिवर इज फ्लोइंग लाइक दिस, स्ट्रीम इज फ्लोइंग लाइक दैट. Do you think it will change its entire course like this? No, not at all. It will cut through this and try to make its own path. So read out the definition. A part of the river slope and surrounding area gets uplifted. The river sticks. That is a key word. It sticks to its original slope. It sticks to its original slope. That is a keyword. Cutting through the uplifted portion like saw, vertical erosion. It will give a vertical erosion to this area. तभी क्या बनते हैं Himalayas में? You can see the unique characteristics of Himalayas are deep V shape. What do you call this as?
Gorgeous.
Excellent, gorgeous. ठीक है? Now coming to the next. Okay. After that, we have done a different one. What we call it as? Can somebody tell me? इसके बाद हमने
Consequences.
consequent rivers. I want to keep it as simple as anything. Why? Because I know already this topic is little tough. So antecedents का opposite क्या होगा? Consequent. उसमें what it will do? It will change. It will cut through. It will not change the path. I'm sorry. It will change the path. It will change the path and follow the underlining rock. जो भी रॉक या कोई जो भी पाथ पे लेके जा रहा है, it will follow that path. The main example of it is Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. You're all which rivers? Peninsular rivers. Very good. I gave you the assignment also on this topic. These are your consequent rivers. Okay. After that, what we did? Subsequent. Remember? What is subsequent? Sub means what? Apart. Subsequent means, for example, this river is moving. Now ये तो बन चुका है. Consequent या ये consequent भी हो सकती है, ये inconsequent भी हो सकती है. ठीक है? This river has been formed. Now tributaries will add to it. अब tributaries कैसे add हो रही हैं? For example, 90 degree angle पे add हो रही हैं. या फिर 9 rectangle form में add हो रही है. Rectangle drainage pattern form करके add हो रही है. So you call it as subsequent. Can you read the definition? हाँ पढ़िए. हाँ हाँ, नॉन रेजिस्टेंस मतलब क्या है, मतलब सॉफ्ट है, सिंपल रख दीजिए कि सॉफ्ट रॉक, जो जिससे आराम से आप क्या कर सकते हो। सी, इतना टफ नहीं यूज करना है, रेजिस्टेंट देखिए, नॉन रेजिस्टेंट रॉक नहीं यूज करके सॉफ्ट होगा एरिया, तभी तो आप कट कर पाओगे एरिया को। बताइए आगे। सब्सिक्वेंट, ठीक है, ये बन चुका है, ये दिस विल बी ऑलरेडी फॉर्म एंड देन कॉन्सिक्वेंट विल ऐड टू इट 90 डिग्री पे, या फिर रेक्टेंगल ऐसे करके इट विल ऐड टू इट, ठीक है। ओके, विल सी द एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस। जैसे ट्रेलाइस है, ट्रेलाइस हाउ दे आर एडिंग, ये देखिए, ये है रेक्टेंगुलर ड्रेनेज पैटर्न। देखिए, if somebody has any problem in the understanding of this thing, ये आपका मेन चैनल है, दिस वन। और ये मेन चैनल कुछ भी हो सकता है, ये कॉन्सिक्वेंट भी हो सकता है, इनकॉन्सिक्वेंट जरूरी नहीं है। अब इसको इसमें आपको ऐड करना है क्या, रिवर्स। अब रिवर्स देखिए किस तरह से ड्रेनेज बना रही है, पैटर्न बना रही है, समथिंग लाइक रेक्टेंगुलर। कैन यू सी, दिस इज मेन वन पॉइंट ए बी सी डी, समथिंग लाइक रेक्टेंगल ड्रेनेज पैटर्न। एग्जैक्टली रेक्टेंगल नहीं होगा बट इमेज देगा रेक्टेंगल का। अब ट्रेलाइज सिस्टम देखिए, ट्रेलाइज में क्या बताया था मैंने, 90 डिग्री पे ऐड होगा, इट विल ऐड एट 90 डिग्री। जैसे ये आपका मेन ड्रेनेज पैटर्न है और यहाँ पे आके इट विल ऐड एट 90 डिग्री, 90 डिग्री, 90 डिग्री, 90 डिग्री, ठीक है। आई शो इफ सम fourth one is like that. Wait, this one ना, ये देखिए, आई थिंक इट्स नॉट विजिबल टू लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स। ये देखिए, ये रिवर है एंड देन इस तरह से एडेड है, लाइक दिस, दिस इज योर 90। Getting the point? Now, next we did was obsequent river. Obsequent river, what did I tell? Obsequent river means it is adding to the main channel in the opposite direction. मतलब क्या, जैसे ये रिवर पैटर्न है आपका, ये रिवर पैटर्न है, डायरेक्शन कौन सा है, ये, दिस वन। अब ये कैसे ऐड होगा, बाय गोइंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन एंड इट विल ऐड। तो ट्रिब्यूटरी का जो डायरेक्शन है वो कैसा होगा, ऑपोजिट होगा, ऑपोजिट ऑफ मेन स्ट्रीम, और फिर ये ऐड होगा। इट इज नोन एज ऑब्सिक्वेंट। और ये तभी फॉर्म होगा जब मेन स्ट्रीम फॉर्म हो जाएगा। ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, मेन स्ट्रीम पहले फॉर्म हो जाना चाहिए, ठीक है। People who were not there in the previous lecture, उनके लिए I have given a short recapitulation, but it's very important for you to revise the previous lecture because वो 2 hours का lecture था. I cannot compensate this thing in 15 minutes. I tried my best to give a recapitulation. एक लास्ट ट्रेनेज आपका रह गया है, आई थिंक 2-3 आर लेफ्ट, तो क्विकली राइट डाउन, लिख लीजिए। सेकेंड पॉइंट, सेकेंड लिखिए, सुपर इम्पोज्ड एपिजेनेटिक, राइट डाउन, सुपर इम्पोज्ड कॉमा करके लिखेंगे, एपिजेनेटिक, सुपर इम्पोज्ड कॉमा एपिजेनेटिक, ब्रैकेट में लिखेंगे डिस्कॉर्डेंट, डिस्कॉर्डेंट, डिस्कॉर्डेंट और सुपर इंड्यूस्ड ड्रेनेज, or you also call it as super induced drainage. Not able to see all the online students. Dhruv, Ishan, Piyush, Shiman, Sama, Superimposed drain, write down. It is formed when stream width. It is formed when the stream width a course It is formed when a stream with a course originally established it is formed when a stream with a course originally established stream of the course stream with a course originally established again I'll repeat, it is formed when stream with the course मतलब क्या है path, ठीक है, stream with the course originally established on a cover of the rock on the cover of the rock now removed by erosion now removed by erosion comma so that stream or drainage system is independent of it is independent of newly exposed rocks अब जब ये इरोड हो जाएगा फॉर एग्जांपल अंडरलाइनिंग रॉक इज दिस अब रॉक इरोड हो जाएगी तो न्यू लैंड विल बी देयर ये इरोड हो गया सो व्हाट विल हैपन द न्यू लैंड विल बी देयर which will be exposed this is a newly formed rocks ठीक है so newly formed rocks independent of newly formed rocks and structures full stop in other words it is a drainage pattern which exhibits in other words it is a drainage pattern in other words it is a drainage pattern which exhibits मतलब show which exhibits there is extra I which I have written here it's exhibits exhibits which exhibits discordance with the underlying rock structure discordance with the underlying rock structure because it originally developed on because it originally developed on because it originally developed on cover of rocks that has now disappeared due to denudation. Denudation means erosion. Denudation. This is the spelling written on the board. Disappeared due to denudation. Now write down. Next point. Consequently, comma, river directions relate to the former cover rocks and as the later were being eroded comma the rivers have been able to the rivers have been able to the rivers have been able to retain their courses, unaffected by newly exposed structures. By newly exposed structures. Thus it means stream pattern is superimposed. Thus it means stream patterns are superimposed. Thus it means stream patterns are superimposed or placed on ridges or structural features that were previously buried. Okay. Write down the example. Damodar, comma, Subarna Rekha. Damodar, comma, Subarna Rekha, comma, Chambal, comma, Banas are the examples of superimposed. Are the examples of superimposed. Just tell me that can you see this thing? I mean, can you see the slides very clearly, the text of the slides? Right? Can you see the text of the slides clearly? Okay, just study both of them and just give me 2 minutes. Okay. What happened? Why the people? It's not. It's blurring out. Look. देखो ये टेक्निकल इशू माउस okay. Done. So what you have read in this part? What you have read in this part? Also called superinduced drainage. What other terminology we are using for it? Superinduced. वही रख दीजिए ले सकते हैं Superimposed. Why imposed? Why imposed? और एपिजेनेटिक ड्रेनेज, सबका मतलब एक ही है, कुछ भी आए, फॉर एग्जांपल एपिजेनेटिक ड्रेनेज आए, सुपर इम्पोज्ड आए, सुपर इंड्यूस्ड आए, सबका मतलब एक ही है. डू नॉट ट्राई टू व्हाई आई एम गिविंग सो मेनी व्हाई आई एम गिविंग name they ask you the following thing, and then you will get confused if you have never read about the super induced, and that is what they are trying to do maximum time. They try to confuse the person. Okay, so it is important, very important for you to know the other names as well. That's why I'm again focusing on epigenetic drainage. It has enough erosive that it cuts its way through any bedrock, maintaining its former drainage pattern. सबसे पहली बात क्या है? That it has the power that it can cut through the passage. ठीक है, लेकिन what is the difference between this? For example, there was an underlying rock through which it was passing. रॉक के बीच में से ही जाता है ना कभी कभी रिवर आपका, right? It might happen that this rock gets eroded, right? And there is a new formation of the rocks. Can happen. So this river does not belong to this rock. ये पहले वाली rock को belong करता था, right? When it was formed, newly formed. But because of the erosion, this new thing has been formed. So don't you think it is superimposed? Superimposition का literal meaning क्या है? To put something on another thing, the previous one. ठीक है? So it is formed when the stream, I'm again repeating the words, I'm again repeating the sentences for the clarity, that it is formed when the stream with the course originally established on the cover of a rock, now removed by erosion. Point number 1. So that the streams or the drainage system is independent of the newly exposed rocks. जो न्यूली एक्सपोज्ड रॉक्स है उससे स्ट्रीम्स क्या है, इंडिपेंडेंट है, बिकॉज उनका अब कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. In other words, it is a drainage pattern which exhibits discordance. Discordance means, what do you mean by literal meaning of discordance? Search the meaning of discordance, literal meaning of discordance. Discordance है किसके साथ? With the underlying rock structure, because it originally developed on the cover of rock that has disappeared. For example, आपको किसी new setting में बिठा दे, the way, see, you are Indian, right? Huh? Disagreement, but literally doesn't mean disagreement. लेकिन rocks और stream के बीच lack of, यहाँ पे कैसे अप्लाई करोगे इस वर्ड को?
Ma'am, it is not aligned with the.
Aligned, exactly. They are not aligned. They are not yet related. For example, अगर fossils मिल रहे हैं आपको, sedimentary rock में नहीं मिल रहे. Fossils आपको ideally कहाँ मिलने चाहिए? Sedimentary rock में. और sedimentary rock हट गया वहां से, for example. यहाँ पे है एकदम से igneous rock आ गया, because नीचे जो oceanic bed है वो आपके volcanic lava erode कर रहे हैं, igneous rock has been formed. So will you say that fossils are belonging to igneous rock? Never. Fossils can never belong to igneous rocks. Why? कभी कभी नीचे आपने there has been a creation of life, कभी भी existence of life interior of the earth, never at such a high temperature and pressure, हो ही नहीं सकता. टेम्परेचर देख लीजिए आप. तो क्या फॉसिल सिग्नियस रॉक से बिलोंग करेंगे? नहीं. तो यही बात है यहाँ पे, सेम थिंग. ठीक है. Underlying rock structure because it originally developed on a cover of rocks that has now disappeared due to denudation. Consequently, river direction relate to the former cover rocks and as the later were being eroded. In the rivers have been able to retain their courses unaffected by the newly exposed structure. I hope you got my point now. ठीक है. Now talking about the next, quickly we will move. अब ज़्यादा difficult वाले part नहीं है. Dendritic drainage. What is dendritic drainage? What do you mean by dendritic drainage? A tree-like structure. Main stream को tributaries कैसे भी join कर रही हैं? In a tree-like structure, कैसे भी, किसी भी direction में. This is called dendritic. Simple, right? Now write down. Dendritic drainage pattern is a term used for. Dendritic drainage pattern is a term used for drainage which is branching. Drainage which is branching. Drainage which is branching. Thereby giving appearance of a tree. Thereby giving appearance of a tree. Full stop. Thus, a dendritic pattern develops in a terrain. Thus, dendritic pattern develops in a terrain, T-E-R-R-A-I-N, which has uniform lithology, which has uniform lithology. Full stop. That's it. Now write down. Radial drainage pattern. Write down about radial. Write down radial. Tell me one example of radial which is Son. Son is originating from which area? Amarkantak. And how it gets out of this place, plateau, like this. Amarkantak. Okay, this is called radial. Son is emerging in this manner, radial. Okay, write down. Radial patterns of drainage results from streams flowing off a central peak. This is your central peak. Streams flowing out of a central peak or dome. This is the stream. Stream flowing out of central peak or dome. ठीक है? Streams coming out of central peak or dome. Full stop. It is a pattern characterized by outflowing rivers. It is a pattern characterized by outflowing river. What do you mean by outflowing river? That rivers are emerging.
Ma'am, distributaries.
No, Tanishka, it is not a distributary. It means that rivers are not going inside. They are coming outside of this. Outflowing, बाहर की तरफ आना. Outflowing like this. ठीक है. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरी का मतलब होता है जैसे एक रिवर है एंड अगर वो आगे जाके डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाती है, so this is your distributary. It get into the branches. अगर रिवर ऐड करती है मेन चैनल में, मेन स्ट्रीम में, तो उसको बोलते हैं ट्रिब्यूटरी. So that is the difference. ठीक है, मेन सेंट्रल पीक में क्या कर रहा है वो, वहां से इमर्ज हो रही है, ठीक है, इट इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ हियर, सो आउटफ्लोइंग. So it is a pattern characterized by outflowing rivers. Your Narmada Son, they are forming this pattern. Write down a good example of the radial drainage pattern is provided by a good example of the radial drainage pattern is provided by Amarkantak Mountain. Amarkantak Mountain is provided by Amarkantak Mountain. Full stop. Rivers like Son, comma, Narmada, comma, rivers like Son, Narmada, and Mahanadi originating from Amarkantak Hills, originating from Amarkantak Hills, flow in the different directions, flow in the different directions, and a good example of radial pattern, and are good example of radial pattern. Full stop. Now write down radial drainage pattern are also found in Girnar Hills. Girnar, Girnar Hills. Radial drainage pattern are also found in Girnar Hills, where it is in Kathiawar, Gujarat. And Mikir Hills, Mikir Hills. Now see, look in the map. Where is Girnar? This is your Kathiawar. This is your Kutch area. This is your Kathiawar. यहाँ पे in the second peninsula, this is your first, this is your Kutch, this is your Kathiawar. यहाँ पे क्या है? Your Girnar Hills. It is showing what kind of pattern? It is showing radial drainage pattern. यहाँ पे भी आपको मिलता है. Now Amarkantak Plateau. Where is Amarkantak? On this side. On the boundaries of this Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Amarkantak Hills. From here, what is originating? Son and Narmada. Then move to the next one, which is Mikir. Where is Mikir Hills? In Assam. This is Mikir Hills in Assam, right? What is emerging out? Again, यहाँ पे भी आपको radial drainage pattern मिलेगा. ठीक है. Now write down rectangular drainage pattern. Write down rectangular drainage pattern. Rectangular drainage pattern. How are rectangular drainage pattern? Write down. It is formed by faulted and jointed landscape. It is formed by faulted and jointed landscape. Jointed landscape. It is formed by faulted and jointed landscape, comma, directing streams courses in pattern of directing stream courses in the pattern of rectangular shape. Directing stream courses in the pattern of rectangular shape. Okay, write down next. The drainage pattern marked by right angle bends. The drainage pattern marked by right angled bends and right angle junction. Right angle bends and right angle junction between tributaries and mainstream. Between tributaries and mainstream is known as rectangular drainage pattern. Is known as rectangular drainage pattern. Okay. This is all about it. I mean, all drainage pattern. If we are completed with it, I'll share the PPT if you want. In any case, although I've given all the data to you, I don't think it's much required. Right. Now we'll talk about the river basins of India. In the drainage pattern, we'll talk how rivers are been originating in Himalayas, how they have been originating in Peninsula. So we'll talk about it. The first topic that we will do, will give an introduction of river basins of India. And then after that, we will talk about Himalayan drainage, evolution of Himalayan rivers. Then we'll go to Indus, and then different rivers like Jhelum, etc. of the same, the tributary of all that. And then Ganga river, and then smaller discussion of Peninsula river we will have. Okay. So this is how we will discuss all the points. Okay. Now come to river basins of India. Write down. Write on the heading river basins of India. Rivers with their tributaries are rivers with their tributaries are main channel of drainage. They are the main channel of drainage. They are the main channel of drainage of the land surface, comma. They are also at the same time, they are also at the same time chief agents of soil erosion. They are also at the same time chief agents of soil erosion. Chief agents of soil erosion. Full stop. On the basis of area drained, comma, the river basins of India, on the basis of area drained, on the basis of area drained, river basins of India, river basins of India has been divided or classified into three categories. Into three categories. The first one is river basins. The first part is river basins. The first part is river basin with a catchment area of more than 20,000 square kilometer. अगर कैचमेंट एरिया कितना है 20,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर, so it is known as, categorized as large. First point is river basins with a catchment area of 20,000 or more than 20,000 square kilometer are known as large river basin. They are known as large river basin. Second point, river basin having a catchment area of, river basin having a catchment area of river basin having a catchment area of or between 2,000 square kilometer to 20,000 square kilometer is known as medium river basin, is known as medium river basin. It is known as medium river basin. Now coming to the third part, rivers which are having catchment area, rivers which are having catchment area, rivers which are having catchment area less than 2,000 square kilometer is known as small river basin. It is known as small river basin. Now which one should have the longest river basin? Ganga, right? After that, Indus, Brahmaputra, all of them, right? Write down. The major river basins of India in descending order are Ganga, Indus, Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra. Write down Ganga, Indus, Godavari, Krishna. I'm sorry, Brahmaputra is not there. After that, it's Godavari. And then Krishna, and then Brahmaputra. Okay? And so on. Okay. Now coming to, this is the classification of river basin, how we have divided. Now coming to the Himalayan drainage. Write down the heading Himalayan drainage. Now if I talk about the Himalayan drainage, then ideally which area I should talk about? I should talk about this area. This is what I am referring to. This is only the Himalayan drainage. यहाँ पे कौन कौन सी रिवर एग्जिस्ट करती हैं? 3 rivers. Here, Indus, which is originating from here, near Mansarovar. Originating from here and going in this area. Then you have tributaries, etc. That is a different part. Then rivers originating from here. Gangotri Glacier. Ganga is originating and going in Bay of Bengal. And then Brahmaputra originating from here, which is here in, it is known as Sangpo in China and Tibet. And from here it is going and coming and again draining here. Okay? So we have 3 river systems in Himalayas. So I'll give a heading which is common, which is Himalayan drainage. Write down Himalayan drainage. Write down Himalayan drainage. Himalayan drainage. Right on. Himalayan drainage consists of all the international rivers. Himalayan drainage consists of or comprises of all the international rivers of India, that is Indus, comma. We are writing the characteristics of Himalayan rivers, okay? Don't forget, this is the question which I have given you yesterday. Difference between Himalayan rivers and peninsular. Remember? Drainage system. तो आपने करा था ये क्वेश्चन? सो वही पे उसी चीज पे हम लोग डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं आज. ठीक है. Himalayan drainage system comprises of all international river of India, that is Indus, Ganga. Do you think Ganga is international? No. So don't write. Huh? It goes into Bangladesh, and that is why you're saying. But sometimes it can be tricky. It can be tricky because Indus, they originate from outside. Brahmaputra similarly originate from outside. That's why we can call them as international rivers. But Ganga be originating in India only. For
Ma'am,
Ganga,
is
no.
it correct that Ganga is originating from Kailash, I guess, so Nepal, maybe. That is why.
No. What are you saying? No. I'm not talking about that. No. But the point is, do you know about this thing that Alaknanda, etc., Bhagirathi? तो कहाँ है ये सब? हाँ, Dev Prayag, all that is in India. हाँ. Other people, please give your viewpoint. हाँ, वो एक अलग बात है. So maybe because of the origination. एक second, I cannot see the. हाँ, उनके साथ है. I'm getting you what I'm trying to say. Yes. हाँ, tributary. But what I'm thinking is origination. मतलब actual जो river है वो originate कर रही हो. हाँ, tributaries तो originate from outside. I know that. वो तो I know. But point is कि main origination है.
Ma'am, tributaries also, and then it's delta also. It like the Sundarban Delta and all that in West, matlab Bengal, Bangladesh.
Bengal, Bangladesh.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
But I was thinking more of from the perspective of only origination. Yeah. Good. ठीक है. All right. Full stop. Most of these rivers and their major tributaries, write down. हाँ. Full
Please
stop.
can you repeat again?
Okay. Himalayan drainage system comprises of all the international rivers of India, that is Indus, comma, Ganga and Brahmaputra full stop. Most of these rivers and their major tributary. Most of these rivers and its major tributary are perennial. Perennial means it keeps on flowing. ठीक है? Perennial in character, comma, obtaining their water from glaciers and rain. Obtaining their water from glaciers and rain. Full stop. These rivers are in their youthful stage. These rivers are in their youthful stage, carving out a number of erosional landforms. They are carving out number of erosional landforms like waterfalls, cataracts, 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 comma, rapids, 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 gorges, 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 and steep slopes, and steep slopes. Full stop. Next point. The Himalayan rivers are not only eroding agents, the Himalayan rivers are not only eroding agents, comma, but are also depositing agents in the plains and delta, but are also depositing agents in the plains and delta. Full stop. The great Himalayan rivers, ब्रैकेट में लिखेंगे इंडस, सतलुज, गंगा, काली, गंडक are older than greater Himalayas. Next point. They are antecedent and drain not only the southern slopes of Himalayas but also to a great extent not only the southern slopes of Himalayas but also to a great extent northern Tibet slopes. Next point. Himalayan rivers in the plains. Himalayan river in the plain show strong meandering tendency. It shows strong meandering, MEANDERING, strong meandering tendency, and shift their courses. Right now, Himalayan rivers have great socio-economic and cultural importance in the life of the Indian people. The water of the Himalayan rivers is utilized for irrigation, industries, hydel power generation, navigation, and domestic purposes. Okay. Now keep on, I'm giving you 2-3 minutes, revise this, and then we'll come to evolution of Himalayan rivers. If you have any doubt, let me know. After that, after evolution, I'll give you one assignment question that you have to practice in the class. पूछे। थी it was there. And now it is a part of Himalaya. So जैसे ही geological formation हुआ तो स्नो कहाँ फिर where it will form, स्नो तो गिरेगी ना, अब चाहे अपहीवल हो जाए या ना हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर इस प्लेन है, लुक एट हियर, ये प्लेन है, हियर गंगा, हियर द स्नोफॉल इज हैपनिंग। अगर ये पार्ट आपका उठ जाता है तो स्नोफॉल फिर हिल पे होगी। तो व्हाई यू आर, तो चाइना से गंगा का क्या लेना देना? हाँ। हम्म हम्म हम्म। अच्छा, यू आर ट्राइंग टू से कि अगर अगर ऑल्टीट्यूड नहीं होता तो यहाँ पे रेन नहीं होता, और दैट इज व्हाई वी आर हैविंग। अच्छा। हम्म हम्म। गुड क्वेश्चन। But it was there because I'm telling you this because that is why उसका antecedent का नीचे पता चला ना, otherwise तो फिर वही होता, ये सेम उसका original path है, but it was already there. हम्म हाँ, that is true, that is true. She is right. So now they have become the barriers for us ना, that's why the Siberian cold winds जो वहां से हैं यहाँ पे नहीं आ पाती हैं. But now what we are studying is originating from Gangotri glacier. हो सकता है उस टाइम पे ऐसा ग्लेशियर कुछ ना हो, it is just flowing like that. Are you getting the point? Not convinced? हाँ, ये this is even the question for a lot of people. They are also trying to analyze this. But if Ganga was there, this first, that's why हम antecedent क्यों बोल पा रहे हैं? Because जब geological formation हो गया, जब आपका hills, mountains, they were formed. After that also they followed the same trajectory. It, हाँ, but it was already there. It is not soft, first of all. I'm not talking, they are not talking about northern plains, they are talking about Himalayas only. No, not at all. They're talking about Himalayas only. Himalayas से cut through करा है. Deep gorges आपका plains पे नहीं बनता है, Himalayas में बनता है. It's a phenomenon of Himalayas. Hilly areas का phenomena है वो. Because of the volume that they are having, they are very youthful in nature. Okay, so what we have done in Himalayan rivers, what parameter that you have seen? First point is that all the rivers that we are talking about are perennial. I told you, what do you mean by perennial? In which the volume of the water is not going to get lessened. Why? Because either through abhi spring aayega to kya hoga, there would be melting of the snow which will start. So again there will be bountiful, like vegetation will be there around them, and there will be volume of the water again will be seen in the streams, and then monsoon mein precipitation, right? So they are not seasonal. Seasonal कौन सी होंगी? Peninsular. These are perennial. ठीक है. After that, we also call them as a youthful stage. Why the youthful? Because the kind of the speed the volume, etc., that they have picked up. Okay, and they are cutting. Whenever any river will be in a youthful stage, it will always cut through its course. Erosion will be more, right? And when it comes to the plain, by the time it's come to the plain, the speed get lessened. It becomes as a mature. Now it starts meandering. Meandering means taking a different courses. Meandering का मतलब क्या होता है? अब क्योंकि उसके पास वॉल्यूम नहीं है, स्पीड नहीं है, तो क्या करेगा? It will very good. It will deposit, keep on depositing the sediments, and sediment deposit करके it will move towards the different places. It changes the course. Why it changes the course? Because अब speed कम हो चुका है, तो इसको phenomena में क्या बोलते हैं हम? Meandering. Meandering will come in mature and old stage. Then finally it will do what? Deposition of the sediments at the Sundarban Delta. बहुत सारे sediments deposit होगा. And then finally it will drain into Bay of Bengal. ठीक है, और क्या फीचर है? दे हैव, हाँ सर, सोशल इकोनॉमिक डेफिनेटली है. अगर आपने हिस्ट्री भी पढ़ा है, उसके अंदर भी मैक्सिमम पीपल हैव ट्राइड टू मेक देयर एम्पायर नियर द इंडस एंड गंगा. इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, very famous civilization, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, both of them, right? Very prominent one. All of us know about that. And Ganga has been a very important part of the economy. It has given a lot of economic, it has good value, economic significance, not only from the purpose of agriculture, but also from the purpose of pilgrimage, right? So Varanasi, etc., they all are at the banks of it, and we can see clearly how it is providing economic, socio-cultural ties are attached to it. Prayagraj, etc. और बताइए. ग्लेशियर, हाँ ग्लेशियर से ओरिजिनेट कर रहे हैं ना सारे. दैट इज व्हाई. एनी डाउट, एनी पॉइंट विच इज नॉट क्लियर टू यू, प्लीज लुक एट इट. ठीक है, ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स, डू यू हैव एनी डाउट?
No, ma'am, clear.
ओके. सौम्या, ध्रुव, पीयूष, ईशान, शिवम,
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
सूरज. Good. Okay. Now we move to other part, which is your evolution of Himalayan rivers. Write down. Evolution of Himalayan rivers. Write down. The Himalayan rivers have a long geological history. First point. Himalayan rivers have a long geological history. Himalayan rivers have a long geological history. Full stop. The major rivers of the Himalayas are, again same thing, Indus, Brahmaputra, Satluj, Ganga. Which originates on southern slope of which originates from southern slopes of Tibetan highland. Tibetan highland. Full stop. Rivers like, next point, rivers like Indus, Satluj and Brahmaputra. Rivers like Satluj, the major rivers like, write down, Satluj, Indus and Brahmaputra first flowed parallel to the main axis. First flowed parallel to the main axis of the mountain in the longitudinal troughs. First flowed parallel to the main axis of the mountain in longitudinal troughs, and then take sudden bends, longitudinal trough, TROUGHS, troughs, and then they take sudden bends towards the south, carving out deep gorges across mountain ranges. Carving out deep gorges across mountain ranges. To reach the northern plains of India. Full stop. Such deep gorges created by Indus, Satluj, Brahmaputra suggest that they are older.
Ma'am, could you please repeat this point?
Yes. Such deep gorges created by Indus, Satluj, Brahmaputra suggest that they are older than the Himalayan mountains. They are older than the Himalayan mountains and are antecedent in character. Okay, explaining this first para, what do you mean by that? So geologists and geomorphologists try to study the pattern. And we already know the antecedent, we know the meaning of antecedent, what is that? Okay, now, so Himalayan rivers have a long geological history. What is that? The major rivers, कौन सी हैं आपकी? Indus, Brahmaputra, Indus, Ganga, they all are doing what? They are forming on the southern slopes of the Tibetan highland. This Tibetan highland is there. Where it is? If you see in the map, this is the Tibetan highland that they are talking about. This point. Where is Tibetan highland? We have done it very much in detail. In which part? In monsoon, the climate of India, right? A great discussion on Tibetan highland. Why? Because warming of this, very important, very good, low pressure area. So this is the southern side. What is the southern side of this Tibetan? What is the southern side of this? Southern मतलब क्या? Yes, from the perspective this India. ठीक है? यहाँ पे. So the southern side of this island, what is being formed? They originate on the southern side of this part. ठीक है? Next, rivers like Indus and other rivers, they form what? They go parallel to the main axis of the mountain in longitudinal trough. Then they take a sudden bend towards the south. What do you understand by this? What do you mean by trough? What is the literal meaning of trough? What do you mean by trough?
Trough means basically bending, we can say. Like crest is the uplifted part and trough is the bended part.
So trough is this part that we are referring to. So river is coming like this. Can I call it as trough? Right? And it is coming and bending towards India. Right? So here you are having a bend. Again, read that line to understand. Read that line again to understand. It flows parallel to the main axis of the mountains. There are mountains here. How it is flowing parallel to the mountain ranges? Isn't it parallel? In the trough. Trough means this, a kind of a, a basin basically. Okay? Trough, and then it's coming here and bending. Okay? And bend towards where? And then take a sudden bend towards south, carving out deep gorges. यहाँ पे क्या बना रहा है वो? Gorges बनाता है. What is gorges? I told you, a V-shaped valley. Okay? Gorges has been formed. Then what will happen? This is the characteristics of different rivers. Then next, moving towards the next point, write down E.H. Pesco. Write down. The scholar name is E.H. Pesco. E.H. Pesco. P-A-S-C-O-E. E.H. Pesco. 1919, and G.E. Pilgrim and G.E. Pilgrim 1920, 1919, और यहाँ पे आप 1920 लिखेंगे. So you can write same 1919 ही है ये. This is also 1919. Attempted to give a tangible explanation to the problem of. We try to give the tangible explanation to the problem of Himalayan rivers. Himalayan rivers. According to them, write down, according to them, Tibetan plateau was drained to the west. According to them, Tibetan plateau was drained. Tibetan plateau was drained to the west by mighty Sangpo, Tsangpo, Indus, mighty, M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty Sangpo hyphen Indus, combined with Tibetan river, which merged into the Oxus Lake, Oxus. This is the answer of your question, Rahul. Into the Oxus Lake before upheaval of the Himalayas. Upheaval of Himalayas. Before that, कहाँ पे मिस किया आपने? Another big river called Oxus Lake before upheaval of Himalayas. एक बार please explain him. People who have just not couldn't write, एक बार please repeat कर दीजिए. Okay. Write down next. Similarly, another big river called Indo-Brahma of the Himalayas, Indo-Brahma River or Shivalik River, traversed means to cover. Traversed, Traver, traversed the entire longitudinal extent of Himalayas, from Assam to Punjab. Full stop. Later, the mighty Shivalik rivers dismembered into three main streams. First part is Indus and its tributary in the western part. First part is Indus and tributaries in the western part. Second, Ganga and Himalayan rivers, Ganga and its Himalayan tributaries in the central part. Third, Brahmaputra in Assam and its Himalayan tributaries in the eastern part. Very, very important point. Next point. The dismemberment is dismemberment का मतलब आप समझ रहे हैं, अलग अलग होना, divide. Dismemberment, dismember is attributed to Pleistocene upheaval. This is exactly the question that Rahul was asking to me. Pleistocene upheaval. In the western Himalayas, including the uplift of Potwar Plateau, Potwar. Potwar Plateau is in Pakistan, which acted as a water divide between Indus and water divide between Indus and okay, so Potwar Plateau is located in northeastern Pakistan and also in the northern part of the Punjab province. Okay? So this is precisely the detail of it, which acted as a water divide between Indus and Ganga systems. Similarly, next point, similarly, the down thrusting of Malda Gap. Where is Malda Gap? Here. Here you have Malda Gap. Similarly, down thrusting of the Malda Gap divide between Ganga and Indus systems. Down thrusting of the Malda Gap between Rajmahal Hills and Meghalaya Plateau during mid-Pleistocene period caused Ganga and Brahmaputra systems to flow towards Bay of Bengal. Alright, so before moving towards this further, we are ending the topic here. I want you to do certain assignment because in order to understand this, you have to do a little homework on your part because I know a lot of people who have not started their GS or NCRT maybe, so they must be having an issue with this. So in the assignment, write down the assignment. You have to write 50 words on these things, Pleistocene period. Write down Pleistocene period. Tertiary period. Write down Malda Gap. In 3 you will do it. Okay, how many of you have not even attempted the previous class paper that we have discussed? We have discussed, right? कितने लोगों ने नहीं किया है? How many of you? If you have not done, you will do the assignment today in the class. यही आपका आज का structure. And structuring, how you have to do? Structuring, I guess everybody knows. Nobody is new who doesn't know, right? Intro. Please have differences. ऐसे मत लिखना like this. Tableau format में never. ठीक है? Then you will write intro लिखेंगे. Then you will write your structuring. Body में you will write your differences of volume. एक point add करना मत भूलना. That apart from give the examples also. Himalayan rivers का जैसे example देंगे. Give each specific examples. In this, जैसे पेनिनसुलर का आप गोदावरी देंगे. So try to give, and also do not forget to write their importance. Very extreme important point because they are also attached to socio-economic and cultural importance. ठीक है? Try do that question. 8 minutes is the time. 2 minutes are for research. 2 to 3 minutes take for research. But try to complete that question now. By the time Soumya has shared me I'll open her this only. Shared me the question. Okay, can you see on the board? Everyone, please look on the board. I'll give you the time to write. Okay, so she has already shared me her this thing. Okay, so in the introduction, the question was distinguish the drainage pattern system of Himalayan and Peninsular river system. This was the question. So can we repeat the question for everyone? Because a lot of students were not there yesterday. So distinguish the drainage pattern system of Himalayan and Peninsular river. India's river systems. So what is the introduction she has given? Okay, so Soumya, you don't have to write. This is for everyone. You don't have to write literally the introduction term. Please understand. This is just to tell you reference hota introduction. You don't have to write introduction. Okay? You have to start the answer. India's river systems are broadly classified into two major, Himalayan and good. These two systems differ significantly in their original flow characteristics. Good. A generalized introduction, good way to start. A generalized introduction she has given about both of them. Now, India's river system based on origin originate from Himalayan glacier, perennial in nature, exhibit dendritic. Good. So she has given this. But what I would suggest you to do is, if you are trying to make this structure, so ये आप बाद में बना सकते हो. You can start this origin and nature first, keep it first, and then you can give this maybe on the side or after you have written and given, because I told you that paras and pointers are more important. So isko aap pehle rakhenge, isko baad mein. ठीक है? I'm not denying
Okay.
that this is
Okay,
looking
ma'am.
very nice. Content wise also it's looking very nice, but the point is keep it later. Now she has given a mention in the first point is origin in nature. Nature, Himalayan rivers are formed by a melting of glaciers. Good. Their antecedent, excellent. Then she has described the drainage pattern. These rivers form dendritic trellised drainage system due to young fold mountains and complex structure. Geographical feature. These rivers form gorge. Spelling is wrong. Gorge, such as Indus River biggest gorge near Ladakh. Good example has been also been given. V-shaped valley is also prominent feature of the Himalayan waterfalls such as Jog Falls. Good. Don't you think this has been mixed up? Jog Falls are formed in the peninsular rivers. Content is little mixed up here. Okay. So your Jog Falls have been formed in the southern, in the peninsular river. ठीक है, जो वी शेप आपका है, दिस इज द हिमालय फीचर ऑफ हिमालयन रिवर. ये जो वाटरफॉल है, जोग फॉल्स, श्रीवस्ती रिवर, दिस इज द फीचर ऑफ पेनिनसुलर रिवर्स. सो आई थिंक दिस एग्जांपल आपने शायद गलती से यू हैव रिटन इन योर दिस पार्ट, सो फैक्चुअली इट्स गेटिंग रॉन्ग. नाउ पेनिनसुलर रिवर में दीज रिवर्स ओरिजिनेट फ्रॉम वेस्टर्न घाट्स. गुड. कॉन्सिक्वेंट, सीजनल. गुड. ये वाला पॉइंट जो जॉग फॉल्स वाला है, यू कैन राइट हियर इन दिस पेनिनसुलर रिवर. Now drainage, these rivers are usually show dendritic radial. Good. Done. Radial Amakantak hills she has already mentioned, and drew the very nice. See how beautifully she has drew the diagram also. Can you see? Very subtle and important at the same time. Okay, it will hardly take any time. Okay, now it is exceeding the word limit. That is my problem, Soumya. आपने सब कुछ सही लिखा है. ज्योग्राफिकल फीचर्स, आपका आंसर इफेक्टिवली यहाँ पे एंड हो जाना चाहिए था. डू नॉट गेट इनटू सो मच ऑफ दिस. ये वाला चीज यू कैन अवॉइड. इसमें से कुछ पॉइंट्स उठा के
Okay,
यू
ma'am.
कैन in that only. This is my problem because it will consume a lot of your time. How much time you have actually taken to write this answer?
मैम इसमें 10 to 12 मिनट्स लग गया था. मुझे ना ये फैक्टर्स वाले में ही डाउट था कि लाइक ये कंक्लूड करना है कि नहीं करना है एक्चुअली में.
नहीं करना, ये बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा.
ओके
Too much
मैम.
for an answer. Geological
ओके.
structure आप already दे चुके हो. तो ये आप उसी में ऐड कर, जियोलॉजिकल ज्योग्राफिक फीचर्स में आप ऐड कर सकते हो, एक और पॉइंटर बना के इसी में एक और ऐड कर दो, ज्योग्राफिकल जियोलॉजिकल स्ट्रक्चर, and then you can write they are young fold mountains originating from young fold mountains, they are hard stable old resistant nature of rocks, ये उसी के अंदर ऐड कर दो। ये डीप गॉर्जेस का अगेन रिपीटेटिव है पॉइंट्स, ये भी रिपीटेटिव है, ये भी रिपीटेटिव, ठीक है। जेंटल स्लोप वाला पॉइंट आप ऊपर ही ऐड कर सकते थे। नाउ कमिंग डायरेक्टली, इनफैक्ट ये भी रिपीटेशन है, ये वाला दिस, अगर आपके पास टाइम है, यू वांट टू ड्रॉ, यू वांट टू शो, दैट्स फाइन, बट ये रिपीटेटिव है, एंड एनी कंटेंट व्हिच इज रिपीटेटिव तो उसका एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा, इट विल ओनली कंज्यूम एनर्जी एंड टाइम। Now conclusion is saying in a nutshell, the Himalayan river reflect active tectonic youthful landforms while peninsular rivers represent an ancient rock. Good, but I think conclusion would have been little better. Q, because in conclusion I am looking for the again socio-economic cultural importance that they are giving. For example, some data should have been used. That peninsular river like Godavari is able to meet the water requirement or agricultural irrigation requirement of this percent of the area of so and so state, ठीक है, rice cultivation or any other cultivation, so that could have been given, तो वो डेटा ऐड हो सकता है कंक्लूजन में, उस पर्सपेक्टिव से आप देखिए, ठीक है, बिकॉज कंक्लूजन इज मोर अबाउट दैट, ऑल्दो यहाँ तक लिखना इज गुड, बट देन डोंट गेट इनटू रिपीटेशन, एंटीसीडेंट फिर से रिपीटेशन है कंक्लूजन में, एक बार आपने मेंशन कर दिया है वो, डोंट रिपीट, ये आप कर चुके हो, अब कंक्लूजन में यू हैव टू राइट व्हाट आर द इट्स एप्लीकेशन, application looks more nice in conclusion. Now how they are providing the larger benefits to the larger people, livelihood for example sustaining, it is able to help the people, irrigation, cultural ties attached to it, and then how you need to save, just give in some points, okay, are you getting the point? The start is good, everything is good, the point is again you're getting lost in structures and again repetition of the point is happening, otherwise it's good. Done?
Okay, ma'am.
Very nice, keep on doing this initiative, keep on sending me, and that's how she's getting her answers checked also, because she's sending me frequently, okay? So it's a first come first service. All right, did you get what you have to do and what you don't have to do? Okay, did I consume your all time of writing? Only 2 minutes left, ठीक है। हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, हाँ इकोनॉमिक टाइप्स में लिख सकते हो, कंक्लूजन में बिल्कुल लिख सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है। All right, done. Thank you so much class, and please I expect that you will do the answer today, okay? All right, thank you.